This morning, Monday morning, a U.S. judge in Michigan rejected an attempt to, another one, to decertify Joe Biden's victory in Michigan because of alleged irregularities. This is the latest failed legal attack on the vote by this orange son of a bitch. How many attacks have there been now? 30, 35? Anyway, the judge, U.S. District Judge Linda Parker in Detroit, dismissed the lawsuit, hopefully with prejudice, that was filed on November 25th by this crazy woman, Sidney Powell, who either is or was, or who knows anymore, a lawyer for the Trump campaign. A very strange woman. She reminds me a little bit of Nurse Ratched from One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, you know? But anyway, there were a number of reasons that the judge threw the case out. One can only imagine that Judge Parker, after ruling, retired to her chambers and either laughed her ass off or went to the toilet and vomited. She, or I should say, Sidney Powell, the crazy woman lawyer for the Trump campaign, did not respond to a request for comment from the Reuters news agency. Anyway, Judge Parker, before she retired to her chambers, wrote in her ruling, quote, "This lawsuit seems to be less about achieving the relief plaintiffs seek, as much as that relief is beyond the power of this court, and more about the impact of their allegations on people's faith in the democratic process and their trust in our judgment," end quote. So Judge Parker hit it exactly where it lives. All of these attempts by Trump to overturn the results of the election have been nothing less than Trump and the bastards, the slime around him, to destroy representative government in this country and replace it with Trump-style fascism. And the judge knows this. Most of the judges who have participated in these charades brought about by Ms. Sidney Powell or Mr. Rudy Giuliani. Is he dead yet? He's still in the hospital with COVID-19? Oh, well, fingers crossed. The judge said she described the lawsuit as, quote, "stunning in its scope and breathtaking in its reach." Yeah. Because the Trump bastards wanted to nullify the votes of every single person in Michigan. Well, you got to think big when you are following the Hitlerian model, right? And as you know, Trump and his scum have spent weeks since the November 3rd election making these ridiculous claims that the election all over the country should be thrown out because of fraud, except in the states where Trump won. Those states had perfectly acceptable, legal, proper elections. It's all the other states. Sorry, bastard. Biden, of course, won Michigan by about 160,000 votes. And keep in mind, 1 week from today, December 14th, the Electoral College is going to meet to cast their votes for Biden, who won with 306 electoral votes to the Orange Weasel's 232 electoral votes. And as you also know, because this is just becoming redundancy on top of redundancy, wrapped in a redundancy that continues to be a larger redundancy, but the orange bastard and his supporters have been waging these losing legal battles all across the country. Judges have also rejected cases in Arizona, in Georgia, in Pennsylvania, in Nevada, Wisconsin, in Michigan. It just goes on and on. It just goes on and on. And today, December 7th, is the so-called safe harbor deadline for any states who are still trying to determine whether or not to certify the election. This is a deadline for those states to resolve any election disputes that may have come up. A little over a month from the time of the vote. And under U.S. law, Congress will consider a state's results to be conclusive if it's finalized by today's date. And I think all the states have reached that point. Oh, and then on January 6th, Congress will meet to count and accept the Electoral College votes. They're going to count them. 1, 2. Anybody here get up to, can you get up to 306? Jesus Christ. And of course, the day before that, on January 5th, is when John Ossoff and Raphael Warnock will become the two newest senators in the United States Congress. And the filthy, ugly, lying, criminal two incumbents who hold those seats here in Georgia, David Perdue and Kelly Loeffler, will go back to what they do best, and that is stealing, lying, and cheating. Hi, Truth Seekers. Mike Malloy here. As you know, we've switched formats and are now broadcast exclusively on the Progressive Voices Network. So that means you get fewer program interruptions, no corporate commercials, and lots of profanity. But our format change also means some of our radio listeners no longer hear the program. It's been a while since I mentioned our podcasts, so you may have forgotten that there is a way to listen to this program anytime you need a good dose of screaming. Visit MikeMalloy.com and subscribe to our podcasts. As a podcast subscriber, you can download the program to your mobile device and take me with you wherever you go. And if you have a friend who needs a dose of truth-seeking, you can give a gift subscription as well. That's MikeMalloy.com, and never miss a minute of the uncensored fun and frivolity.